Freedom fighters, I'm back with another one. Well, I was watching a video a couple days ago from Kaz. For those of you who don't know, that's an Italian hillbilly here on YouTube. But he was talking about the Maui fires, and he made some good points, and I've been stewing on it for a while, so I kind of wanted to do my own video on it. And I know you might be saying, well, the Maui fires, that's old news, why are you talking about that? But this was never intended to be a breaking news channel. I know there's plenty of channels out there who do the hour by hour updates of everything going on, or they monitor seismic activity and tremors for earthquakes, or storm trackers, and there's like a fire watch map and all that stuff. But I usually like to, watch things happen and let them unfold, and then kind of form an opinion on, what happens. So I usually sit on stuff for a while. But yeah, he did a video, and he actually made a point that I've been thinking about for a while. And I haven't seen too many people, until recently, call it out. But, yeah, I mean, with these Maui fires, there's a lot of talk of space lasers and all kinds of conspiracy theories, and how the elites are hiring arsonists to burn down property so they can buy it up and all that. And that's not really going to be so much this video. I'll probably do another video about that kind of like conspiracy theory kind of thing. And by the way, I take video suggestions, so if anyone has a topic they want talked about, feel free to put it in the comments, and I'll eventually get to it. It might not be next video or even the video after that, but I'll get to it. But yeah, I sat on it, I was thinking about it, and basically I just came to the conclusion they want you a dependent slave. That's what it is. They want you to depend on them, the almighty government. And that's what it always comes down to. It's about big government. It's about Big Daddy coming to the rescue, and you have to bow down to government. And, you can't do anything about it, and they're begging you for help, and that's the main point of the video here. And that's what Kaz was talking about. They had The Rock and Oprah out there shilling for these charities and trying to raise money, and they got blasted on Twitter. They got blasted everywhere. But Kaz and I think, what's that channel? Wall Street Apes was another one who posted something about it. And they were just saying, like, how dare you ask us for this money? Like, what are you begging from us for? Insert the Greta Thunberg meme, How dare you? But, in the middle of a recession, basically in the middle of a depression, everyone's out here struggling to eat. They can't pay their bills, taxed out of the wazoo. And then here you got Oprah, like $1 billion net worth, is asking for your peasant dollars. And this is something I noticed for a while. Like, they always do this. I can't remember what it was for, but they did this big joint concert, and all these singers got together, and they were collecting money for something. And I'm just like, why is it that they need our money? And then J.J. Watt did this one time too, during some football thing. He was a Houston Texan, and during the flood they had there in Texas, in Houston, he created some charity, or he was doing some thing. And then they always put this name behind it too, like Houston Strong. And they're like, yo, guys, we need everyone to rally around Houston, and, you need to give us your money to help, these people. And I'm all about that. I'm all about helping these Americans who are in trouble. But it's like, where are our tax dollars going? And that's the problem. It's like, they should be helping these people out. But imagine if, your house got burned down in a fire, that they could just guarantee, like, yeah, we're gonna rebuild for you. We're gonna recoup your losses. Um, these houses that get caught in the storm, Florida just had a big hurricane and all these floods. And they were saying how people can't even pay the insurance premiums anymore. They can't pay this stuff, so they're going uninsured. And they're just like, they lose everything because of the flood. Imagine if the government stepped in and just said, oh no, we're going to rebuild for you. All these storms and Tornado Alley and stuff every year. A whole town gets demoed as a tornado blows through. And you're lucky at best. They'll say donate to, I'm not even going to say the organization, donate to the Cross or, FEMA or whatever government approved money laundering operation. Allegedly, of course. This is all my opinions, but I don't believe any of these charities and stuff actually use the money that they take in. I believe they're all just soaking up your money, and they don't build houses for any of these people. They don't do anything, and they might do one or two, and they virtue signal on TV and show you this one person's house they rebuilt, but at most they hand out water bottles and stuff like that. But yeah, they need your money to do it, and the celebrities and athletes, to reach out and tug on your heartstrings, because what happened to these people is terrible, for sure. And they want your donations because your tax dollars are too busy right now. You see, your tax dollars get to go to Ukraine. Your tax dollars get to go to the military industrial complex, BlackRock, who said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna rebuild all of Ukraine." And of course we need more illegals, and where the strain on the medical facilities, and we need your tax dollars for that, and we need to house them up in hotels, and we need to do all that. But when a natural disaster comes in and blows your house away, or burns your house down, or floods it, or whatever, they're nowhere to be found. And like I said, they'll be begging your fellow citizens, your fellow poor citizens who are broke, to give a few dollars. And at best, you're lucky to get a water bottle. FEMA might roll through and throw you a water bottle, but that's about all you're going to get. Imagine if they actually cared about Americans. But that's clear that they don't. And, what was that other thing? I think they did one during the Super Bowl, too, where, they have to milk that audience. The largest television audience they have. You gotta milk that for donations. But yeah, I mean, they should be using your tax dollars for that, and everything should be guaranteed for American citizens. But they don't want that. And the other part I was thinking about was how they ask you for help, but they don't really want your help. And so people were showing up down there and trying to clean up the scene and help rescue people, and they were turning people away down in Maui. And they've done that before other places. I think it was Katrina, where the Cajun Navy was down there, and they're like, oh no, like, get out of here, you're doing more harm than good, and we don't need people out here doing this stuff. And I remember like some woke article saying something too about, this is toxic masculinity at play, and all these guys in their boats and their big pickup trucks rescuing people out of the water. How dare they? That's for the government to do. You step aside, just give us your money. And it's almost like, when you come across homeless people, or someone's out there begging in the street, and they're like, oh, sir, can, you afford some money? Can you give me some change? And then you offer them some food. You give them some food, but they don't want it. That's just like the government. They'll be on TV like, we need your help. And then you're like, okay, well, me and my group will volunteer to come clean up the scene, or see if we can, rescue some people, and they're like, oh no, not like that. Not that kind of help. We just send us $5, whatever you can. Make a limited time donation. Even $1 helps. They want to rack in every single penny you have. Meanwhile, in our official policy, Americans are on the back burner. And that's the problem we've been having. We want America first policies, but it's always America last. And we got crumbling roads and falling apart bridges, and they're supposedly just passed this infrastructure plan, but again, they can't back anything during natural disasters. They can't ever help you. And it goes back to the topic where I was like, they want you a dependent slave. And of course it never happens to them because they're well off and well taken care of, and everything's assured for them. And yeah, I guess we'll kind of touch on the conspiracies a little bit about, Oprah and The Rock here talking about this stuff. But yeah, I mean, she's buying up all these properties. Isn't that great? How all this new land just opened up. So basically, they burn it all down, and they get to buy it all up underneath your feet for pennies on the dollar. Isn't it grand? What a plan, what a world we're living in. And that's the part of being dependent on them. And that's why all these wildfires are happening and they're burning down the countryside. To push you into these 15-minute cities, and you can be a slave in your pod and you eat bugs. That's ultimately what it's all about. And meanwhile, they'll complain, if you try to prepare for anything. You'll be called an extremist if you have an extra bag of rice. Or you go to the grocery store and they see you get a couple extra cans of beans, all of a sudden it's a problem. But, they're fully taken care of. And, Canadian Preparedness did a video about this. He has Ron on his show a lot. He's the owner of Atlas Survival Shelters, I think, or Atlas Bunkers. But he says he does bunkers all the time for these elites and stuff like that. And, I mean, they got bunkers under their houses. They got escape tunnels. I think it was the Twitter guy. He doesn't run it anymore. Jack Dorsey or whatever. Who had like a helicopter pad attached to his house, and then he put one on top of the Twitter headquarters or something, so he could like bug out at any time. Mark Zuckerberg's on the island. Supposedly his house is like a freaking fortress. It's like a compound, I think AJ was saying one time he was jet skiing around there, and he got close to the shoreline that was actually Zuckerberg's. And he's like, drones came down and like warn you're entering the premises. Obama's on the island as well. And I think Canadian Prepper did a video about that too. And I think it was called, Is Obama a Prepper? But, yeah, he installed a 5,000-gallon propane tank in his house. They said it can like sustain his home for 4 or 5 years. But again, you're a problem if you buy an extra bag of rice. And they don't even want you buying those little green 1-gallon containers. Or if you buy a container for your barbecue, it's a problem. You can't have a gas stove. You can't have electric ceiling fans. But Obama can have a 5,000-gallon tank to take care of his family for 5 years because, rules for me but not for thee. So yeah, I mean, that's the point. You're going to be a dependent slave. That's what they want. And you know what I always say? We are on our own. No one's coming to save us. So get right with God, because only God can save you. Freedom Fighters out.